Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from a absolutely gorgeous, but very not very fall-like day here in Appleton, Wisconsin. Lori looks like she made a comment, but she's cheering on her granddaughter at cross country, so she's going to watch that later. So go, Mary. And then we've got Julie from North Dakota and Carol from Texas. And Mary joined, and thank you for liking and sharing. And Dee, same thing. And Sarah. Oh, Sarah, you guys are cloudy and rainy. It is so unseasonably warm. I think they said by Monday we are supposed to be near 80 degrees. That is I mean, like we never have that. Last year it snowed on Halloween. So it's just so weird. Hello, Donna. Thank you for joining me. And oh, Dee, I wish you a very quick recovery as well. I just saw Mary's comment. Ugh, back spinal surgery. That does not sound good at all. So I'm glad that we can provide you a little entertainment as you are recovering. And hello, Carol from Texas as well, and Michelle and Elsa. Thank you all for joining me. Um, I had a card buffet this weekend, so that's why I'm jumping on a little late. I had four ladies here this morning. We had a bunch of ladies last night who were stamping, and so that's why I'm coming on just a little bit later, which is nice for my West Coast people. So today we're going to do a layout that I've used quite often, and I'm going to do it in a little Christmas card that I made. And then I'm going to use oh gosh, Humble Home bundle today. It's a punch and stamp set, but we're not using it for Christmas. I have two of my nieces who recently moved into new homes. One's a house, one's an apartment. But I was wanting to send them something and wish them well in their new places. And so I needed to have a card. And so I picked that up with a fun fold that I saw back in August that I've been wanting to try. And I decided today we were going to do it. So it's going to be kind of a welcome into your new home, but it's also a card that has a really, really cool fun fold. So let's go ahead. I have some happy mail to share with you. Holy cow, I've got a lot of happy mail to share with you. Look at this beautiful card using the changing leaves. This is from Debbie Peters, and she was sending me um I think she was said I was being generous and kind. I think she won something. So thank you, Debbie. And then I got this from Marge. Marge, this is absolutely gorgeous. I love the spotlight on nature dies and the stamp set. And there too, she had won something on World Card Making Day, and she was thanking me. And look at this beautiful one. Oh, just love those big, that grateful for you, and that frame is so pretty. And that ribbon is some of my favorite. This is from Michelle Jones. And I, at the end of our fiscal year for Stamping Up, when we're starting a new year, as a way to thank all of the members of my team for being with me throughout the year, I put together a little box of goodies. Well, those that came to my team meeting got it in person, but I had to send some out in the mail. So she was thanking me for that. Look at this beautiful one. This is from Linda Kester. She also won on World Card Making Day, I believe. And so did Becky Weisky. And look at how beautiful that card is. Oh, so fall and just pretty. And then Sandy's also on my team, and she got her box of goodies and she was thanking me as well. Look at this. I love how she used this is the Gone Fishing. This is that tackle box die. And what she did is she cut out one of those designer papers that has like a scene, and she filled in one of them. So this one up here, she filled in with just put the paper back in and had stamped on it. But the rest of it she cut out and put in there. Isn't that clever? That was from Sandy Calloway. Look at this one. This is from Linda Gilbert, who also won a prize. Another beautiful card using that autumn set, changing changes of autumn or whatever. Anyway, that step that's been so popular that last night we were complaining because everybody's been trying to get it and it's been out of stock. It comes in for like a day or two and then it goes out of stock again. So, oh, good. Michelle's having some pumpkin kringle. Yeah, there was this pumpkin kringle. There's a kringle place, a bakery. It's called Uncle Mike's Bakery, and they're known for their kringles. They're huge. They're kind of like stuffed with different fillings and have wonderful toppings on. And this was think it was cream cheese and pumpkin. And it was, oh, I I shouldn't have had any, but I did have a piece, but I only had one piece. But it was wonderful. All right, so that was all of my happy mail. Wouldn't you love to go to your mailbox every day and get cards like that? It's so awesome. All right, hello, Linda and Amy D and Melanie. Thank you guys for hopping on, and Kay, welcome. So now I have some prizes to give away. So last week we made this card, which was a fun fold, because normally you would think that was a book fold with the thing on the side, but it actually opened up that way instead of opening up, whoops, the way that you normally do with a book fold normally pulls out this way. So that was fun. And then we made our religious Christmas card and we used that falling snow background and made it into a starry night instead of snow, and receiving these for commenting. So anytime you place a comment, whether it's live or if it's after and you're watching the replay, or if it's back on Facebook because you don't have a YouTube account to comment, I put all of those into a drawing and receiving these. Oh, and we also made this cute little box. Remember that? And it does fit a Reese's peanut butter cup, one of those fun size ones. And it also, I found some pumpkin spice Werther's caramels, and it fit four of those in there pretty easily. So receiving these is Kay Weir. And I don't know if Kay is on. Nope, I don't see Kay on here today. So congratulations, Kay. I'll be sending one of these boxes. If you watch this before Monday and you have a preference of a Reese's peanut butter cup or the pumpkin spice Werther's, you can let me know that and I'll send you the one what you like. Then for sharing. So anytime you share, and Linda just wrote down that she shared, and other people have written down that they shared today. Whether you share it on your Facebook page or you email the link to somebody or you somehow share it with somebody else, you also get put into a drawing to win prizes. These are also have been out of stock and they came back in stock. So I got some of them. These are the Druzy adhesive backed embellishments and they just sparkle. And these are going to Cheryl McClure, who shared last week. So again, I put your name into a drawing and it's sort of the luck of the draw. And then for placing an order. So I have all my names of people who placed orders this last week. There were quite a few of them. I'm putting them on my desk and I'm going to pick this one live. I did that last week too. I think people like that instead of me just picking a number. I ended up just picking, hello, Patty Skiba from Texas. Heard it's hot in Texas too. Okay, I picked one and this is going to Sarah Marquardt. I could have just given it to you this morning. So this is a fun set, Choose Happy. I'd given this one out a couple weeks ago. I think Donna won this one. And it just has some fun little images that you can use. But then I used a happy Thanksgiving. There's a happy anniversary, choose happiness. There's all kinds of different um, sayings that you can use with all of the words that are on there. So it's kind of a fun, and we used it for this set, this label as well. So congratulations to all the winners. Yes, thank you for those of you who are saying congratulations. Hello, Cheryl, you won. I don't know if you were on here when you won, but I'll be sending some of these your way. All right, let me go ahead and clear this stuff out. And I'll get these names. I'm going to put them right in my garbage. I'm going to write down that Sarah won, though, because I got to make sure I send it to the right person. So I'm going to write down Sarah's name quick. And then I'm going to flip my camera and we are going to start stamping. Used it this morning for senior class. Good. I'm glad that you were able to use it, Donna. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll drag that over. We'll make that bigger. And I'm going to turn my overhead light off. I added a new piece of furniture to my stamp room. I added here, I can show you. I think you can see it in the back. I think Debbie said she noticed it. Whoops. She noticed it the last time. So I added this. It's kind of supposed to be a kitchen island, but I added it as my cutting station. And the reason I needed a cutting station is that I found that when I was cutting on my countertops, that I'd have all these little half-inch strips that were left over, and they just pile up and they just pile up and they just pile up, and then I'd have so many of them, and it made such a mess. Now I have such a small space where I'm cutting that if I don't clean them up right away and get rid of them, I don't have room to cut anymore. I figured it might help me to keep a little bit cleaner. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we're going to try it for a while and see if it helps. All right. Let me go ahead and get you dimensions. Oh, you know what? I needed to make a change. Last week in my type directions, in my hurriedness to get everything typed up, when you made the box, here's the box. For the cover, there were 3 score lines that you had to do diagonally, and they should be 7 1/8, 7 7/8, and 8 5/8. And I said that every single time, but I typed this as 7 5/8. It should be 7 7/8. Okay, I'm going to try to go in and see if I can do an edit and add something over the top of it that tells you that it's actually 7 7/8. A couple of people asked me about it because I was saying 7 7/8, but it kept saying 7 5/8 up there. That was totally a mistake on my part. All right, hopefully I don't mess up today, because I think there were 2 things that I was messed up on last week. I think there was one other dimension that I had wrong. All right, this is going to be a layout that I have used quite often, and I decided to use it on a Christmas card. So it's a normal card base. It's just, this is petal pink, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So that's going to be our card base in petal pink. And then we're going to be using that with Poppy Parade. So this Poppy Parade measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. I also have a Poppy Parade that measures 3 7/8 by 7/8 of an inch. And again, if you do not like 1/8 of an inch, you can cut this to 1 inches if you want. And then there would just be a little bit more of it showing after I cover it with some DSP. Okay, and then I also have a piece of Poppy Parade that I ran through our falling snow, I think it's called, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's a 3D embossing folder. It's one of those 6x6 ones. This is in our annual catalog. This piece measures 2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Okay, I'm going to be using the Snowy Scenes designer series paper to go with it. So I decided that my background was going to be this design, which is petal pink with some white snowflakes on it. I loved how there's kind of like these snowflakes in the background. I have 5 1/4 instead of 5.5 printed. Where? Oh, right here. I do. Goodness gracious, what is wrong with me? Let's go ahead and edit this. No, not that one. Let's hide this. We'll edit it to, I'm sorry, 5.5. See, I made a mistake again. So this base, I don't know who told me that. Kay, thank you very much. So this base right here is actually 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, now where was I? I'm on, we got to save that. Is this what I'm on? Nope. This right here. All right. 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. All right. So that is just, and again, if you don't like eighths of an inch, just cut this to be 3 3/4 by 5 if you want. It'll just have more of the red, the poppy parade showing through instead of just that little bit. Okay. And then we have this designer paper that has the little plaid on it, and the back is like snowmen and stuff. This measures, nope, no, that's not what it measures. Where is it? I'm all messed up here where I am now. Here we go. 3 7/8 by 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Now, if you ended up cutting this a quarter of an or an eighth of an inch smaller, then that would be 3 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. All right. Whew. And then I have an inside piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I have another piece of that snowflake paper that measures 4 by 1 inches. Okay, here's a little hint for you so that you don't like mess up with like, okay, this one's 4 and this is 3 7/8. I cut mine to 4 by 5 1/4 or 4 inches wide. And then on this one, I just trimmed off that little extra eighth of an inch so that I didn't have to cut another strip of the paper. It was all cut with the same strip. All right. I also cut out this die of petal pink. And this is from the Christmas labels. We're going to use this Be Merry stamp from there because I'm using the snowy scenes, but I didn't like the greetings that were in there. There was a Happy New Year, there was a Let It Snow, and I forgot what the other greeting was, and it didn't really fit in the layout of this. So I looked for something else, and we're going to use Be Merry from here, and we're going to use a Merry Christmas from the reindeer set. I also cut out one of these circles from the Spotlight on Nature. And this is from Petal Pink as well. And so I cut out that one right there, which is like the 1, 2, third from the smallest. Okay, so we'll be using that. And then I'm using the Snowy Scene paper, and I love these little penguins that are in here. Now, the color combination that I'm using is Petal Pink and the Poppy Parade. And if you notice, this guy's scarf, this one's hat, okay, those meet my color combinations. So all I did was take our 1 3/4 inch punch, and I just came in and I punched out one of those penguins from the paper. All right. You could also, in the stamp set, there is a penguin. You could just stamp the penguin if you didn't have the paper. But since I had the paper for all the other stuff, I decided to kind of just use this using the paper. All right. Season's Greetings is the other one. And I like Merry Christmas over Season's Greetings. So that's kind of why I opted for something else. All right, let's go ahead and see how this is all going to go together. So on the inside and on this label is where we're going to be doing our stamping. So I'm going to do that first, and then we'll put the whole card together. So like I said, I'm going to be using the Be Merry, which was from that Christmas labels, and I'm using Poppy Parade ink. And I'm going to try to center that as best I can, looking over my camera. I did a pretty darn good job, if I do say so myself, not to pat myself on the back, but all right. Then I have a lot of blocks that are being used for my card buffet. So this block is way bigger than I need, but this is the Merry Christmas from the reindeer stamp set. I thought, be merry, Merry Christmas. All right. And then there are 3 different sized snowflakes in the Snowy Wonder. stamp set. So there's this one, there's that one, and there's that one. So I put them each on a block, and I'm going to use some of the Petal Pink ink, and I'm just going to stamp each of them once. Let's see. Go there. All right, so I'm just adding a little bit of snowflakes to the inside with my greeting. Oh, and I just put my finger right in this ink pad. Let me see if I can get it off. There we go. Just wiped it on my black pants. You're not going to be able to see it. It's pink, right? All right, so all of our stamping is done. And it's time for us to put our design together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece that I embossed. Now this you could use, I've already, when I've done this layout, I've also used this as a different pattern of designer paper. So if you wanted to do that, you could. I'm going to make this into a banner. So I'm going to go about where the center is, and I'm going to cut up, and then I'm going to go from the side to that center. Now, some of you might have our punch that would punch that out for you. It's no longer available, but some people have it. And so if you have it, you could go ahead and use that as well. Okay, I am going to layer my designer series paper. I don't know where my seal went. Here it is. I know I had one. I am going to layer that onto this Poppy Parade. I just want a little bit of the Poppy Parade showing on either end of that. And then that is going to go not really center, it's going to go a little bit below center. Like that. This is a layout that comes together very, very quickly. Hi, Rosie. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on which time zone you live in, right? It's afternoon here, but I know I have a lot of people that watch me on the West Coast, and for them, it's only 10:30 in the morning. Right now, before I put this down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of our Petal Pink ribbon. This is a combo pack that comes with Petal Pink, and it's got one white and one Petal Pink. And I'm just going to run this across here. My ribbon scissors. I know I have a scissors right here, but that's not a ribbon one. And I'm going to flip that over. Oh, and normally I have tape here, but all of my tape dispensers are set up for my card buffet because I have more ladies coming tomorrow. So I'm just going to take some of our tear and tape, works the same. Oh, but I'm at the end of the roll. I'm just batting 100 here. Batting 1,000, I mean, not 100. 100 would be really bad at it, batting average. I'll use glue dots. All right, I'm going to put a glue dot on that end of the ribbon and on that end. I'm just going to make sure I'm still centered. Nope, I'm not. I sometimes have to, when I have my card buffets, I sometimes have to pull things from my workstation so that I have enough for everybody to have stuff. There we go. That works. All right, and then we're going to attach that to the front of our card. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Rosie, your afternoon too. I know the day can get away from you, can't it? I know I was working away and it's just like, how can it be this late already in the day? I'm gonna give this a little bit better burnish because I didn't. All right, I'm gonna take that little strip that we had, that 1-inch strip, And I'm just going to add that along the bottom of my inside layer. And we'll go ahead and put that together right away too. After my buffet this morning, I was watching the Badgers playing, so I can hear the game is still on in my living room. All right, this is just going to go over on the side here. And I don't want it centered with this. I want it a little bit, so just the little ends of my ribbon here are hanging underneath there, and that most of it is up on top. I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals. Because of that ribbon that's there, I'm going to try to keep my dimensionals on either side of the ribbon, because otherwise this is going to be really uneven if some of the dimensionals are sitting on top of the ribbon. Put that there. This Be Merry is going to go here. Our little penguin that we cut out is going to go on that circle that we had, just to give them a little bit. Oh, I think I put that on the wrong side. Hang tight. I did. That looks much better, doesn't it? I don't know if you can tell that or not, but it looks a lot better on that side than it did on this side. Okay, it's just more pronounced. The stuff is Badgers 14-0 for Northwestern. That's what it was at halftime. So, all right, then this is going to go right here, and our Be Merry is going to go there, and we're going to take a little piece of our ribbon and we're going to tie that on here as well, and then we're going to embellish. So, I think I'm going to use some liquid glue because of the embossing that's on that tag. I just feel like I'm going to have better luck with liquid glue sticking and getting in between all of that embossing. I'm going to press that down. Yeah, it's on the Big Ten. Yeah, Big Ten Network. Oh, thanks, Kay, for answering, Sandy. All right, I'm trying to keep up, but it's hard sometimes. Okay, good afternoon. And shared. Thank you for sharing, Marva. And then I'm going to add the Be Merry right underneath there. I could probably move it down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to cut just a little piece of this, and we're going to put this underneath here. And just tie a knot. I find it's a little less bulky for going through the mail when I do my ribbon that way, and also saves on the ribbon. I don't have to have as much by running it all the way underneath and across. Okay, so there's our little penguin. And then just to add a little bit of embellishment, I did have some embellishments here. Here they are. This is only a half a pack of them. I cut them in half so they fit in a container that I had. Hi, Anne. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. This is the iridescent adhesive back discs. They were in our holiday catalog last year, and they carried over into our annual catalog. And there's some, I don't know if they're Real Red or Poppy Parade, but they're red nonetheless. And I thought that they fit really nicely with this card. So I wanted to add something red to this petal pink. And so I'm just going to add a couple of them up there, and we'll bring one in down here. Whoops. Like that. And there is our cute little card with that little penguin, right? Easy, super easy layout to use. Goes together pretty fast. I was messing around with another card with the layout. Here it is. It's a little bit bigger circle on this one. My greeting was in my ornament, And so I didn't feel like I needed to have another greeting, and I didn't do any ribbon on this one. I raised up the circle rather than the banner. So there's a lot of different things. I would just raise up one of the or the other, but not both of them. Okay, so there is our first card, our little Christmas card. That is really, really cute. I love this Snowy Wonder stamp set. But like I said, I didn't really want Let It Snow. I wasn't looking for a Happy New Year, but this is a great set for that because it's winter. It's not just Christmas, it's winter. So it could be a winter birthday, it could be a Happy New Year's card, it could be after you get Christmas cards or after you get Christmas gifts, your winter thank yous that you sent out because it's really just a winter scene. That's what I love about. I always keep my bathroom when I decorate it for the holidays. It's always let's put our envelope here. I always do snowmen in my bathroom, and when I take everything else, like my Christmas tree and everything else down, I usually keep my decorations up in my bathroom well into January and even into early February because it's only decorated with snowmen. And with it being snowmen or snow people, um, it really isn't just Christmas. It's more of a winter type scenery instead of being just for Christmas. All right, so there's a cute little envelope to go with our Christmas card. All right, so that is our card number one. And let me get some of this stuff out of here, set it on my counter, and bring in all the stuff for card number two. And we're actually going to cut this paper so that you can see how to cut it for card number two. It's not that this is a difficult fold, but I wanted to like walk through it with you and cut it and score it with you so that you don't sit there and wonder how in the world do I do this. Okay, so for this card, we are going to some of the things that I took to use to make this card. Like I said, I'm making this a welcome kind of to your new home. So I'm using the house punch. I'm using this down here. I'm also going to use this little heart that's in there, but none of them were really necessarily, I mean, there's this welcome that I could have used, but I wanted more of a congratulations. So I was looking for a fun congratulation or a congratulations that fit where I needed it to go. And in our cutest cows, this congratulation worked just perfect for the size that I needed. So there were a lot of different ones that I looked at, but that's the one that I ended up ended up with. So we're going to go ahead and use this a little bit later. So I'll set that aside. We are also going to be using a couple of different dies. I'm going to be using, boy, I put that in the wrong way. The Nested Essentials. We're going to be using these rectangular dies, which I love these curved rectangular dies. I was going to use this one right here, but then I found something else that worked. I was going to put this along with this and have that sticking out on the top and the bottom. But I ended up using a different die, but you could use that if you wanted to replicate this and you have these dies. Northwestern just scored 2. Come on, Badger defense, right? I did, this is from our iconic imagery. This is a fun label. And I'm not gonna lie, Dina Rico is the one who, I had seen this fold from someone else, and then I saw her do it. And when she did it, she used this die, these two dies together, and they looked really cute together. Originally, I was gonna use this one, but I went back to using the exact same thing she did because I thought it looked just a little bit cuter. So those are the dies that we're going to be using. Just so if you wonder when I get there, I don't have to be like, okay, this is where I got those from. I'll get rid of all of this stuff and show you where I got them from as we start out. Okay, let's set that aside because of course I have that all cut already. I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. We're gonna cut this together and score it together. All right, hopefully I didn't mess any of these up. So if you see, if I say something different than what you see, let me know that, okay? So we're gonna start. We need a 5.5 by 9.5. So normally I cut 5.5 this way, but this is only 8.5 inches long. So I actually have to cut the 5.5 along this 8.5 inch side. Okay, so I'm gonna cut 5.5. This is going to be the other piece that we need for our card. So we're not going to, I'm just going to set this over here because we're going to do something with that as well. Now we need it to be 5.5 by 9.5. So I'm going to put my little handle out here and I'm going to go to 9.5 and cut that there. Okay, so this is the base of our card. Now this card is going to be a gatefold, so it's going to fold in, but it's also going to have an accordion fold that folds out. So it's going to, the base card's going to fold in, and then this is going to be an accordion that will pull out when you open it. It sounds difficult, but it's really not that difficult. We are going to score at a 1/2 inch, and I like to do my 1/2 inch on the right hand side because it gives me more space to put the rest of my card up here. There's not a whole lot of space on this right hand side, so I go to a 1/2 inch and I score that there. Okay, and then after the 1/2 inch, I'm also going to go to 2 5/8 inch. Now this you can't cheat, it's got to be an eighth. So 2.5 is 4/8. So another eighth is the next, not the real little one, that's a 16th, but then the eighth is right after that. So 2 5/8. Right, I'm going to do that on both ends. So I'm going to go to a 1/2 on this side, flip it over, and do 2 5/8 on this side. Okay, so that's going to be our base. Now there's one more thing that we have to do with this, and I'm going to fold this just so that you can see where that score line is. Okay, I think if I score it, you can see it a little bit better for what I'm doing next. I'm going to line up on the 5.5 inch side. So here's my 5.5 inch side. I'm going to put that across the top, and I'm going to go over to 1 1/4 inches over here. So that's 1 1/4. And I'm going to bring my cutting blade up, and I'm going to cut from the top down to that 1/2 inch score line. Okay, so I just cut down to there, and then I'm going to come from the bottom and I'm going to cut up to that 1/2 inch score line, which you can't see right now. I don't have my thing in here, but I went up to where that 1/2 inch score line is right there. Okay, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'm going to go to 1 1/4. I'm going to cut. Okay, so from the 1/2 inch line to there, and I'm going to do the 1 1/2 inch, sorry, 1 1/4 inch. Say the right thing, Sarah. All right, so I just cut those. We're going to cut those little tabs out, but that's how we're going to cut that one. Then we still have to do something with this piece. So this second piece, our accordion piece, so this was 3 inches that we had left, okay, because we cut it at 5.5 and it was 8.5 inches. So this is 3 inches. We have to go to 10 5/8. So we're really just cutting off like about, what is that? 3/8 of an inch is all we're really cutting off. Right? That's all we're taking off of that. And then we have to score it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on each side. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Okay, each of these sections now is going to be the same. All right, let me get my trimmer out here. I'm going to show you with some templates that I made. So here is the first one that we did. It's 9.5 by 5.5. I scored at 1/2 of an inch and 2 5/8 of an inch from each of the ends. Okay, so that's that score line and that score line from each of the ends. And then I cut over, this is 1 1/4 inches down. I cut to the score line, on each of those. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove those little tabs. My paper scissors instead of my ribbon one. So I'm going to just cut up and remove that tab. And I'm going to cut up and remove that tab. There go my business cards sitting right in front of me. I don't know how they just all of a sudden. And then we're going to go ahead and cut up there and here, just to take those out. Okay, so now I have what this looks like. All right, so that's our first template. And then our second template is the 3 by 10 5/8, and we scored at 2 1/8 on each side. Now, if you can remember that, here's my center one. I've got 2 on this side and 2 on this side. I want these to come in towards the center. I have to fold those in towards the center, and then my opposite ones I'm going to make into mountains on either side. Okay, so I need my center to lay flat, and then I want these other two to come into some like mountains almost that I'm making into them. But I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to fold those. Give those really good burnish. Okay, so there's going to be my accordion fold, the pull-out part. Here's going to be my gate fold. I'll set these over here to the side. So if it's a gate fold, I want this to come in like this. And I'm just going to fold this way. It's not really the way it's going to go, but it doesn't matter. Okay, when I fold this one in, I want to make sure that my gate fold doesn't overlap. I want to make sure that they come together. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're pulled together. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and force that so that they're together, but that they don't overlap at all. We don't want them to overlap. We want them to come right together in the center. Okay, easy enough. So what's going to happen is this is going to get attached to this so that these are going to fold in on themselves. That's the other thing we have to make sure when we do these, that they, okay, I have to force this down a little bit because there we go. It has to force down to be flat. Okay, so this is going to pull out like that, and then it's going to fold into itself. Pull out like that, and then fold into itself. All right, so that is that piece, and this is the outer part of our card. So we've got two things going on here. All right, then we need some designer paper, and I chose this wildly flowering, whatever. This is the designer paper that I chose. So you need two pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then you need one piece that measures 4 by 5 1/4. So where are we going to put these? These are going to go on these two side panels in the front. Okay, so we're going to put one of them. I don't think there's an up and a down to this paper at all. So some of the patterns there is, but this particular pattern doesn't really have an up and a down. Okay, and then this is going to go in the center. All right. That's what we have so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play with this accordion fold. Now I wanted my center, all of these pieces. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. Each one of those, if you're going to put something on it, it should measure 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. Now I'm only going to put something on 4 of them. I'm going to keep my top one open because I'm going to decorate that on the outside. So what I chose to do is I chose to take a different pattern of that paper. Whoops. This right here. Okay. So this actually does have a right side up and a wrong side. So I'm going to use, I have 2 of those. I have 1 of this pattern. I just wanted something a little bit different. So the other side had that brown. And then I have some place where I can write a message. Okay, you don't have a lot of space to write a message. So if you want to write a book, you would have to add a piece of white to the back to do that. Because all you have on the inside, if you're going to write a message on one of these little rectangles, is this small piece. But I'm just going to write, "So happy for you, love, Aunt Sarah." So I didn't really need a whole lot of space for mine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach these. Okay, so usually the center one, or if you wanted to, you could have 2 of them be things that you were writing on, and then have the other 3 be something different. Okay, and this one I'm going to leave blank. So this is going to fold in like this, and then I'm going to pull this to open it up like that. So this is going to be tucked over, and this is going to be my top one. Okay, now to put this together, I'm actually going to technically fold these in the opposite way. Okay, so what I need to do is this has to be centered, and these are the same height as those tabs. Okay, so I need this part right here to be centered, and if I'm centering it on my card, then top and bottom centering it would go to about where that tab is. Okay, how do I know if it's centered? I'm kind of looking at the end that's hanging off the edge here, and I'm trying to see that both sides are about the same. Now, if you want to actually measure it, it's 1 1/16 of an inch. So it's 1 inch plus this one little mark that's after the inch. That's how far over it has to be if it's centered. Where am I taping? Just in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to put a whole bunch of tape right there. I'm going to stand up actually because I feel like I can have a better view of this. Just kind of looking to see if my 2 ends are about the same. I'm kind of measuring it. Yep, 1 1/16 is about what I have there. When it looks like I have it where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and press that down. Okay. Never took this off. Looking at the comments. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some adhesive to this little tab that's there and fold that down. And I'm going to add some adhesive to this little tab and fold that down. And now when they come back in together, it looks like that. Okay, so there's my center. I open it and I have a place to write. Okay, what I'm going to do is I cut that iconic celebration. I did that in our Moody Mauve, and I'm going to adhere that to the center, and I'm going to have about the same amount hanging off the top and the bottom and have it be centered right and left. I'm going to stamp on this, and I'm going to stamp on some scrap of crumb cake. So on here, I'm going to stamp my congratulations along the bottom of this in early espresso. Okay, and then on my scrap of crumb cake, I'm going to stamp that house, also in early espresso. It's all the stamping I'm doing on this one. There wasn't a whole lot of stamping I had to do today. A lot of just crafting with the stuff. Then I'm going to use the punch that goes with this bundle. And I'm going to line up the house. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then I'm going to bring in, I thought I had a little scrap of Moody Mauve, which is the color that we have here. Here it is. Okay, so here's a little 1/2 inch strip. And there's this little heart on the side. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to punch that out. All right. Then I'm going to take just a glue dot. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I love the fold. It's really not that difficult. I mean, I know that I have a lot of stuff written out here, and it seems like, oh gosh, it must be difficult because she wrote all this stuff out. I'm keeping this for myself so that when I go back to make this card, I have all the stuff and I remember what it looks like. So this is just kind of a template for myself. So if you wanted to, maybe cut yourself a template like this before you actually cut your other paper, and just make sure that you have it. I'm going to put this little heart underneath, kind of right in the center there. And of course, I'm going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to add some glitter to that heart. Ooh, my Wink of Stella is really, really, really juicy. All right, and I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals. Okay, so that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to adhere that right there. All right. And I didn't add any other bling to it. You could add some bling if you wanted to, but there is our card. Okay, so you just pull on the ends there to pull that out. I can write a greeting on the inside of it. And I thought that was a fun little congratulations on your new home or your new place to live. I did also do it in wild wheat. So here's the wild wheat version. I did keep this Moody Mauve because there was Moody Mauve in it. But there is the wild wheat. I was kind of thinking for my niece Aubrey, I thought this might be a good color for her. And for my niece Emery, this would be a good color for her. So this one's going to go off to California. This one of these is going to go off to Minnesota. This is actually, I'm going to give to somebody next week, but I have my version of it that I made here as well. So I have my 2 cards made for my housewarming gift, or like congratulations on your new house, that I'm sending to them. And they're all ready to go in the mail on Monday. All right, let's go ahead and make a really nice envelope to go with this. Take some of the designer paper. You could really use either side. I'm going to use the bigger print, I think, the bolder print. And then we'll trim that up. All right, so there is our envelope to go along with our fun fold card. Now, it's probably gonna need extra postage. Rosie, do I have PDFs for these cards? I tried putting all of it on my blog and doing that. It was one thing that I couldn't keep up with my full-time job and with trying to do this and keeping up with everything. So I don't. But what I will do is I think I'll take a picture of this right here. And where I will probably post it is on my blog and on Facebook so that you'll have at least these dimensions and this picture to show you how to do that. I could also write on here, so our DSP, let me see if I can find a pen. Doesn't look like I have a felt tip sitting here. Oh, here I do. Okay, so the DSP, there were two of them that were 1 7/8 inch by 5 1/4. There was one that was 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, that was the same. And then I had these pieces right here were each 1 7/8 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so those are the 4 or 5 panels that you have there. So one of them I made white and then the other ones I made DSP. Okay. Yeah, you might have to watch the replay on this one, but at least you have, like, if you want to take a screenshot at some point of that so that you have it. And then here's the other one. I'll put, like I said, I'll post a picture of this on my blog. I'll also post it on Facebook so that you will have it to look back on. All right, I think, let me see if there were any questions. I'll come back to you. Questions. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you guys. Michelle, I need this bundle. I know, right? I saw somebody else that did stuff. And what the reason I bought this bundle is because I have very few things when someone gets a new house. I have very few things that like kind of fit in with that. And I thought this is such a cute punch and stamp set. There's so many different things that you can do with it that I thought I think this might be one that I don't know if when it's no longer available, if I will get rid of, only because there's so few things that I have for somebody when they have a new home. And I usually like to send some sort of a card or give them something. And so oftentimes I'm just doing like thinking of you because I am thinking of them. What is my Facebook, Rosie? It's Create with Sarah. And it has pretty much the same picture on the top of it, like the picture that's on the thumbnail for my YouTube videos as well. It has that same picture on the top of it, but it's Create with Sarah and it's SARAH. Any other questions here? Da, 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 da. Okay, Donna took pictures as you went. That's what I always do too. It's probably the easiest way. All right, I think that's it. I will be back to my normal time next Saturday. So I will be on at 8:30 next Saturday with a couple of new things. I think I'm gonna finally break open my oh, what's the name of it? Decorative trees. Decorative trees. I have had that bundle for a long time and I haven't used it yet. And so I'm thinking that's going to be the Christmas card that I do. And then I think I might do something for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is just around the corner, believe it or not. And so I think we need to do something for Thanksgiving. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that I inspired you to try to get a little creative and try maybe a new fold or at least a new layout. Again, I didn't put all my stuff together. So we have this little fun layout, and then we have our fun fold that opens up like that. And really, you could put either side in the front. Okay, so you could have the front be like that, or you could have the front be like that. I just opted to have that be my front. All right. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again next week. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.